You're listening to a podcast by Way Collective, a contemplative community for love and liberation in Santa Barbara, California. This recording was the conversation starter at our dinner and dialogue gathering on June 25th, 2025. Thanks for tuning in. All right, friends. Well, I'm excited to continue our series of conversations on staying human in the age of AI. Primarily, if you haven't been able to tell, because I love talking about questions that are central to the human journey, but also because the advent of AI is so rapidly changing the landscape of our society that I feel that these conversations are crucial for spiritual people like us. So tonight, I want to invite us into a shared wondering, not so much about the facts of artificial intelligence, which Tracy did a wonderful job of introducing last week, but I want to only begin to inquire about those deeper questions beneath it all. What makes us human, and how do we stay human? When we look back at some of the greatest technological leaps, the Industrial Revolution, the birth of the personal computer, and the rise of the internet, we can see with the benefit of hindsight looking back just how much they changed our world, for better or for worse. They reshaped how we work, how we connect, and how we see ourselves as a society. But with AI, we're not looking back yet. We're right in the middle of it, in the thick of this unfolding revolution. It's as if we're watching a new story being written right before our very eyes. And we can begin to take stock of its effects on our environment, on our job markets, on our creative processes, and we're going to do that in this series. But tonight, I want to linger with a more ancient and ongoing question, one philosophers have wrestled with for millennia, and one that contemplatives return to again and again. What does it mean to be human? And perhaps more urgently for our time, how do we stay human, awake, open, and whole in the age of emerging AI technologies? From a contemplative Christian perspective, part of the answer begins here. There's something at the core of our humanity that AI can never automate, perfect, or tie a bow around, and it's this. I think in some sense that to be human is to be finite, to be imperfect, and in that very imperfection, to find our wholeness. The author Parker Palmer puts it beautifully. Wholeness doesn't mean perfection. It means embracing brokenness as an integral part of life. Knowing this gives me hope that human wholeness, mine, yours, and ours, need not be a utopian dream if we can use devastation as a seedbed for new life. So in a world where we can summon information, ideas, and even plans for solving complex problems at the click of a button, where omniscience seems almost within reach and gives us the illusion of our omnipotence, Palmer reminds us that real wholeness comes not from instant synthesis or gratification. Rather, it comes from embracing our own incompleteness, our own waiting, and our own tender and unfinished edges. I mean, think about how quickly our world moves now. Not long ago, we marveled when Amazon went from 3 to 5 day shipping to automatic 1 to 2 day shipping with a Prime membership, right? Now, I'm sure many of you have seen this, and some of you don't use Amazon. That's fine by me. But there's an option for an overnight early morning delivery that arrives before we've even had the chance to anticipate the package, right? You can get it delivered tomorrow by 10 a.m. And in that acceleration, in that drive toward the instantaneous, I ask us, what happens to our capacity to wait and to wonder, to grieve and to grow? In the age of AI, I think one of our tasks is to stay in touch with that part of ourselves that remembers we are mortal, we are fragile, we are made for love and connection, not perfection. And as a Christian contemplative, I often say that what we actually are, each of us, is an instantiation and intimation of divine love. So to embrace our full humanity is in some way to embrace the divinity at the center of our being. On this, and I'm sure we've explored this idea before, Richard Rohr writes, "You do not resolve the God question in your head, or even in the perfection of your moral response. It is resolved in you when you agree to bear the mystery of that which the divine holds, both God's suffering for the world and God's ecstasy in the world." So another way to stay human, then, is not to engineer away suffering. It's to learn to bear the mystery of joy and sorrow together. It's to remain open to the depths of what it means to live, to love, and to lose. And it needs to be said that I believe fundamentally that life is a mystery. And I'm into science, and speculative metaphysics. I love that stuff. And I think getting to know reality is so important, and it's exciting, and it's quite the adventure. But beneath all of that, we've got to admit with a little humility that the pursuit of knowing the mystery begins with the admission that our basic situation as human beings is one of not knowing, but rather it's one of awe, wonder, and silence before that which is ultimate, that sometimes goes by the name God. And this is where I think AI, which is useful and remarkable and powerful, can tempt us, because it can, via facsimile, remove that sense of mystery, right? When we can get any answer instantly, from something as mundane as, who won Best Actress at the Academy Awards in 1978, to creating a systemic plan for solving affordable housing without having been trained in areas related to social problem solving, we can start to feel like maybe, just maybe, there's nothing left to know, and AI has helped us get everything figured out. But as the podcast host of On Being and author Krista Tippett reminds us, our spiritual lives are where we reckon head on with the mystery of ourselves and the mystery of each other. And that mystery is part of what makes us human. We contain multitudes, and we talked about this a few weeks ago in our series on transformation. There's always a moreness to us, something indefinable, something beyond what can be coded or compiled. And part of that mystery is the mystery of embodiment, which AI is not in any way. This whole being a human, being in a body thing with our consciousness and our moral agency, our moral reasoning and desire and purpose is what makes us unique and sets us apart in the age of artificial intelligence. So to stay human is to remember that we are embodied. We don't just process information, we sense the world through these living, breathing bodies, through touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. Our joys and sorrows rise up from within this body that aches and heals and hungers and rests. AI has no body, no skin to feel the warmth of a hand or the sun on its skin, no breath to steady itself in grief or delight. So to stay human is also to remember that we are conscious. We don't just generate responses based on language models that we've learned. We experience life from the inside. We feel wonder and fear and hope. We have vast inner worlds, or what philosophers call qualia, the felt texture of being alive. AI has no such inner life. It does not feel. So to stay human is also to remember that we are moral beings. We can wrestle with right and wrong, make choices that shape our world, and take responsibility for harm and for being a part of the healing. AI cannot choose the good. It can learn human morality and assist us with it, but it doesn't bear the weight of responsibility. We do. And lastly, to stay human is to remember that we are beings of desire and purpose. We long, we yearn for connection, for beauty, for justice, and for God, or ultimate meaning. AI has no desire in this sense. It wants nothing and is not really on a journey toward meaning. I would go as far as to say that, metaphysically speaking, you and I, we are living nexuses of creative embodiment. We are openings in the universe through which beauty and heartbreak can flow into art and kindness and courage. And here's the crux of the matter. When we let AI do all our creating, not just help, but replace us, we risk losing something essential. And I felt this in my own writing at times when I've leaned on AI tools a little too much in the early stages. I've noticed that my own sense of connection to the work, to the creative spark, my own voice can feel dimmed. It's as if something gets lost when I don't wrestle with the ideas myself first. Maybe some of you who have used ChatGPT have felt that too. And not only do early studies suggest that over-reliance on AI tools like ChatGPT might negatively impact our cognitive function, like dampening originality and memory and overall brain activity, but on a deeper level, what actually happens when we outsource our creative work to ChatGPT is that we surrender the sacred work of shaping our world with our own hands and our own hearts and imaginations, which are the very gifts of being a human being. Do you see what I'm saying? So tonight, friends, an initial encouragement I want to give us is to understand that we are invited to let AI support our creativity, but not let it replace our capacity to wonder, to wait, and to imagine. We're also invited to let go of the illusion that we must control this technology entirely or that it can control everything for us. And instead, we can practice being grounded in our own souls and our actual human lives. And above even those two elements, I want to say that to stay human is to make space for our mystery and for beauty and for that creativity which no algorithm can grasp. So, in this age of AI, let us stay close to our embodiment, our inner life, our moral courage, our longings, and especially to each other. Let us keep alive what no technology can replicate. And as we go from here tonight, may we remember that our humanity is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be embodied. That our wholeness is found not in perfection, but in the embrace of our brokenness and our finiteness. That our creativity, our longings, our moral courage, and our capacity for wonder, these are sacred gifts we carry, not outputs to be automated. That in this age of AI, our task is not to compete with technology, but to more deeply embody the beauty of being human, and each of us has the freedom to use it to supplement that without replacing it or not. And may we take heart in this. We are right in the middle of AI's emergence. And as it continues to evolve, as its future unfolds beyond what any of us can control, and it absolutely will do that. It's going to be amazing what happens in the next few years. Our calling is not always to master it fully, but to stay connected to our humanity right in the middle of it. For if we bring our humanity with us into wherever this technology heads, our tenderness, our mystery, our love, and our creativity, then no matter where this evolution leads, we can't go astray because we will bring our very selves, whole and human, into whatever future comes our way. Okay, I'm looking forward to talking about this with you all tonight. So here are 3 questions for contemplation and conversation. Number 1, the self question. In what ways do you notice yourself staying connected to your own humanity, your body, your creativity, and your sense of wonder in a world that so often pulls us towards speed, efficiency, and instant answers? Number 2, the sacred question. How might staying present to mystery, to what we can't know, control, or perfect, be part of how we experience or embody the sacred in the age of AI? And number 3, the society question. As AI continues to shape our world, what do you feel is most important for us to nurture together as a human community so that we can bring our shared humanity with us into the future? Thanks for listening to this podcast by Way Collective. To keep up with our community, you can subscribe to this podcast, go to www.waycollective.org, or follow us on Instagram at @waycollective. Peace and every good, y'all.